Welcome to Papa Recaps. Today, we are recapping the movie The Wait. Ellie and Mikko, a married couple living in a secluded Finnish archipelago, lead a seemingly ordinary life. Their connection mainly revolves around meals and bedtime, with different interests and perspectives. However, their tranquil existence takes an unexpected turn when Mo informs Ellie about his friend Olavi's desire to visit due to the pandemic's impact on his creative work in Paris. Excited yet apprehensive, Ellie prepares their home and creates a warm ambience for Olavi's arrival. Upon reaching the archipelago, Olavi encounters Lana, a charming resident of the island. As Ellie greets their guest, she retreats into the house, overwhelmed with emotions and on the verge of tears. Unbeknownst to Mikko, Ellie and Olavi share a history of love and past romance. They were once a wonderful couple until Olavi left, leading Ellie to meet and marry Mikko. Eventually, Ellie and Olavi find a moment alone to confront their feelings and reminisce about the past. Although it appears that closure has been reached, Ellie struggles to sleep at night, haunted by the sound of Olavi's footsteps echoing from the room directly above theirs. The couple spends the next few days together with their friend, but Ellie suffers more and more because of Olavi. Mikko soon leaves for work and promises to return in a few days. Ellie decides to spend some free time with her guest, showing him the island and talking about her relationship with her husband. In the evening, Olavi prepares a terrible dinner but amuses the couple with his jokes. Later, the couple locks themselves in the bedroom to be alone, with Olavi nearby, forced to listen to Ellie's moans and envy her husband. The next morning, Mikko leaves for church, and Ellie spends time at the seashore. Upon returning home, she invites Olavi to join her and visit the church to see her husband's work. In church, Ellie increasingly looks not at Mikko but at his friend, reminiscing about her past relationship. After the service, Mikko reports that he is forced to leave the archipelago for a couple of days to conduct a funeral on the mainland. Meanwhile, Olavi communicates with Lana and notices that she has another admirer who is clearly interested in her. On the way home, Ellie mentions that Lana is actively searching for a more suitable match for marriage. She suggests that Olavi would be ideal for Lana, as he is not only handsome and educated but also cheerful, ensuring she would never be bored with him. Upon returning home, Olavi carefully examines Ellie, which confuses her. They spend the entire evening together, relaxing on the seashore and allowing themselves a little drink. In the evening, Ellie makes her way to her bedroom and hears Olavi's footsteps, which fills her with excitement and leads her to indulge in some personal pleasure. The next morning, while fishing, Ellie confides in Olavi about her desire to escape the island and live a happy life but feels constrained by her husband. Olavi sympathizes with her honesty, as they both understand their own desires and strive to achieve their goals. When they return home, Ellie decides to change her clothes, but Olavi enters the bedroom. Although she prefers to be alone, Ellie isn't bothered by the presence of an old acquaintance. Recognizing their mutual attraction, Olavi seduces Ellie, and they spend some intimate moments together. However, their time is cut short when Leah and other residents of the archipelago visit Mikko. Ellie longs to be alone with Olavi, but circumstances prevent it. As a dutiful wife, she graciously receives the guests and hosts a small gathering. At one point, she is asked to light the bathhouse with only Olavi and Leah present. Ellie feels intense jealousy towards Leah, realizing that Olavi might be more interested in her. Back in the bedroom, Ellie cries and feels betrayed but ultimately decides to rejoin the guests. Later that night, Olavi and the other guests set sail on a yacht to continue the festivities. At dawn, Olavi returns home to find an angry Ellie, who had a restless night and is chopping wood to calm herself down. Shortly after, Ellie and Olavi head to the beach for a swim. Although Olavi is enchanted by Ellie's beauty, she does not allow him to approach her, feeling betrayed. On her way back home, Ellie once again succumbs to her emotions and reaches out to hold Olavi's hand. She expresses sympathy towards him at one point, but he hesitates to pursue a personal relationship with her due to her long-standing marriage. Upon arriving home, they are surprised to find that Mikko has returned from the mainland earlier than expected. The preacher shares his experiences and the joys of living on the island, which have given him a new perspective. However, Ellie is preoccupied and pays no attention to her husband's words. Later that evening, the couple forgets to close the bedroom door, and Olavi catches a glimpse of Ellie in an enchanting moment. She notices him too but remains in her husband's embrace, trying to make Olavi jealous. The family friend returns to his own room, pleased by the sound of Ellie's voice. The next morning, Olavi declines to accompany Miko to church due to a heavy workload and an unfinished project. Ellie also declines Miko's invitation, causing him to leave alone. Later, Ellie shows some attention toward the family friend, but Olavi rejects her advances, explaining that he is focused on his scientific project. This upsets Ellie, prompting her to practice yoga at the seashore for relaxation. Upon returning home, she prepares dinner, plays a musical instrument, and realizes that Olavi is missing. Worried, she ventures into the forest and encounters him taking a walk. Ellie once again shows interest in Olavi, but he pushes her away, understanding that their differing perspectives on life and her marriage to his friend are significant obstacles. Despite their love and lingering feelings, Olavi does not want to pursue anything personal, believing it would be futile. At the same time, he declares his love for Ellie, causing her to question her choices and consider divorcing her husband. The next day, Ellie suggests a boat trip to a secluded island, where they have a picnic and rekindle their connection. Despite their growing feelings for each other, Ellie decides to end the outing early out of fear of the consequences. When they return home, Miko suggests celebrating their anniversary, but Ellie is overwhelmed by her conflicting emotions and retreats to her bedroom in distress. Meanwhile, Miko confides in a friend about Ellie's reluctance to have children, feeling hurt by her indifference. Later, Olavi expresses his protectiveness towards Ellie and resentment towards Miko. Ellie becomes increasingly irritated by Miko's attention and eventually argues with him, forbidding him from approaching her. Seeking solace, she goes for a swim in the sea before returning home and apologizing to Miko. That night, she gives into temptation and cheats on Miko with his best friend. The next morning, Miko discovers them together and is devastated by the betrayal. Ellie visits Miko and sincerely apologizes for her actions. Miko, valuing trust and honesty, is pleased by her gesture and holds no anger towards his wife. Later, Olavi expresses his desire to leave, but Miko requests him to stay a few more days. Over lunch, the men reminisce about their youthful adventures and share funny stories from their long-lasting friendship. At one point, Miko suggests living in the present rather than dwelling on the past and picks up a gun. However, unable to gather the courage to end it all, Miko breaks down in tears, still unable to forgive his wife and friend for their betrayal. Olavi decides to depart from the archipelago, and his friends give him a ride to the departing ship. Before leaving, Olavi invites Ellie to join him, but she declines, choosing to stay with her husband. Olavi sails away, and Ellie and Miko return home. In the evening, the couple embraces each other, determined to move forward with their lives. During their conversation, Ellie confesses her fear of being honest with Miko. Understanding her concerns, Miko is willing to let go of the past and reaffirms his love for his wife. Soon, their lives return to normal. Miko continues his work as a pastor, while Ellie finds solace in nature and climbs her beloved apple tree. One day, while sitting by the window, Ellie spots a deer hiding in the nearby bushes. In this moment, she realizes her love is solely for her husband. For the first time, she invites Miko to join her in fishing, acknowledging that he is the only person she wants to spend her entire life with.